battery. I'm at 25%, so I think I'll be fine. But if I die at the end, just go on without me. My phone will be dead. But I can't charge it while I have my headphones in because of iPhone 7 brilliance.
Wow, that is true.
Hilarious.
Oh god, I gotta get a new. I gotta get a new phone soon. I don't know what I want to get. All right, well, I'm ready.
An iPhone 3G.
Yeah. All right. 3. All right. Actually, do I sound like legit good right now?
No.
No?
You sound okay.
No,
just speak up. Just speak up so that we can hear you. You're like on the verge, at least for me, of being like quiet. But
yeah,
I know that it'll be better on the pod. So just speak up so that I don't miss what you're saying.
Okay. All right, that makes sense.
As long as you speak deliberately, it's fine.
3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to the Morning Ski Podcast. I am Matt Moody, joined by Doug Leby and DJ Mitchell to cover a 5-game Wednesday slate. DJ, haven't heard from you in a while. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing really good after being torn apart about not being on the podcast. Okay. I honestly woke up Friday morning at 9 a.m. because I had to bring my car all the way home to get checked out. And I really thought...
You hear that, folks? 9 a.m.?
All the way home. How far do you live from your house?
Okay. Now, was I a little bit hungover? Yes. Was it a 2-hour drive? I told him I'd be there by 11. So I was like, all right, got to get up and go. And I'm like throwing things in a bag, getting ready to go. And I actually thought, like, should I bring my mic? And I was like, oh, there's nothing on Mondays ever. I'm going to be back for Tuesday night. I did not think to look. And then I looked, and I knew that I was wrong. And I was waiting for one of you to text me and be like, are you ready to pod? And I was like, So I'll just I'm going to take the full blame on it. And I checked, and I knew it was bad. But
breaking news, DJ didn't think.
But you know what? Why we can't be mad at me? Because do you know what today is when everyone's listening?
Halloween.
No, when everyone's listening.
Oh, the day
much more
Halloween.
important, which is
the Day of the Dead.
Okay, which is
Dia
also
de los Muertos.
Oh, I know this. November 1st.
And
all right, it's DJ's birthday today, so I'm here to wish him a happy birthday. I know, Doug.
Honestly, I don't know when Matt's birthday is either. I know it's later in the year, or I mean, I guess earlier in the year now, but
maybe you could
May
write
13th.
our code
It's
human.
Oh, it's actually All Saints Day. Is that also Day of the Dead or no?
It's also All Saints Day. This is true. It's all of these days.
Oh wait, no. Dia de los Muertos is the 2nd of November. I have that on my calendar.
Oh my god!
All Souls Day is Dia de los Muertos.
All right, remove it out. We gotta move on.
It's Dia de los Muertos Eve.
All right.
Do you even watch Narcos? Okay.
I'm just gonna skip how you're doing, Doug. We know you are as snarky as ever, so you're doing well. So let's get into this Wednesday slate. We are looking at Philadelphia at Chicago, starting at 8 o'clock. So keep that in mind. Setting your lineups, you get an extra hour. So. After Philly at Chicago, we have Pittsburgh at Edmonton, New Jersey at Vancouver, Toronto at Anaheim, and Nashville at San Jose. So I think all of these games personally have some merit. So let's just go game by game rather than a slate overview. There was one thing brought up on the Morning Skate Pod GroupMe that I wanted to touch on. It came courtesy of Jared Juskiewicz. Let's go with that. Juski. He asks, what are your thoughts/experiences with higher stake GPPs? Not sure what exactly qualifies for high stakes, but maybe
I'll handle this one.
More. Doug, I would appreciate your input here, but I think I'll go to DJ first. I mean, I'm not going to lie and say that I definitely have more experience, but I know DJ's thrown a bullet or two here or there before. So, is there anything that you notice when you're playing, higher stakes or single entry sort of stuff that you tend to try and do differently? Or
No,
do you keep your process pretty similar?
I really keep my process very on par no matter what I'm playing. I mean, cash and GPP are different, but I just know when I'm playing the higher stakes, I feel like there's this thought to get really contrarian for some reason, and I really try to not get off of what I really think is right. And I don't totally rely on the sim, especially when going at a bit higher stakes, but I do use it. It's kind of my go-to first move, no matter what I'm playing in. I mentioned this in the group me. I like to go to it first to kind of get an overview of what something unbiased is thinking, because I feel like if I go into a slate with some of my biases that I have from watching hockey and being a fan, then it really can just make me kind of fall in love with something that isn't really there. So I try to look at an unbiased opinion first, no matter what I'm playing in. And then from there, kind of look at what the game looked like last game, how the Lions ran. Normally I can spot where things might be changing, and hopefully I can clear that up by going to the beat reporters. Matt, you have a really good system for all of these beat reporters. You want to mention that really quick? Because it's something I feel like every DFS player should be checking.
Yeah, so if you go to Twitter and you find me at Fake Mood, if you look at my list, like on my profile, I have a series of lists that you can click on. I have each team's beat writers in a, like, using their abbreviation as the list name. And you can actually just like go to one list, click on the last 3 letters and change it to the team you're looking for as abbreviation. And it'll pull up all of the beat writers, and you can kind of get a sense for morning skate, post game like interview type stuff. Just trying to get like a sense of what the coaches are thinking, what the lines will look like, power play units. So that's really useful.
Yeah.
So
I was just gonna. Sorry.
Yeah, go. No, you go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's really important to do this on, especially when you're putting in more money in a bigger slate. With, I mean, it's just you have to know what's going on. If you miss something important, for example, if you played Atkinson, I think it was 2 nights ago, and you're listening to this, and you didn't check last minute to see he was out. He was out, correct?
Oh, yeah, he was.
Yeah, then you just threw away your money. You have to be checking this stuff. So I definitely am more diligent with my lineups and really making sure. I rarely make a mistake. It has happened on nights where I throw in a lot of lineups where I accidentally may have clicked on the wrong guy. But if I'm throwing in bigger entries, I'm double, triple checking everything. And then lastly, I'm definitely checking Corsica. I'm trying to check the trends of late and just kind of hammering home some stacks that I'm really confident in. Like I've mentioned before, some nights I have the same stack in like all of my lineups, and sometimes I really get kind of different in each of them, but I really try to find a core group normally. But Matt, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, so you make a good point about the checking the line stuff. I think Atkinson was late enough to the point where, like, I don't think you need to be on your laptop or computer or your phone, like, the minutes before a slate starts. 99% of the time it won't matter. But morning skate is where the information really comes in. Like, if you knew that Shane Gostisbehere was out for Philly and that Ivan Provorov was playing on that first unit and going to pick up a ton of usage, like, he was an absolute must-play on Monday. So, things like that you can see in morning skate and get confirmations really matter. Personally, I prefer to play the higher stake stuff. I'm just not really a mass multi-entry kind of guy. So, I think I have a lot of experience in both formats. And I think hockey's a bit different from the other sports because, like you said, DJ, sometimes you feel an urge to get contrarian, especially when you know that people are kind of playing their cash teams in smaller field tournaments. But hockey is just, everyone's process is, I guess, different in a sense. Like, not a lot of people are actively targeting, like, shot generation, like, as one of their things. They just kind of look at, like, point production in Vegas and just try to take as many, like, goals and assists in their lineup as they can. And I just simply don't agree with that. Like, if I can't pinpoint where shots are coming from, I don't really have much interest in a team, even with a high team total. And I think I've kind of proven that over and over again. So I think it's really just important to play the guys that you think are the best plays, because usually ownership will figure itself out. Just because people think differently, especially with hockey, because there's not as much of a consensus. So with that said, that was a great question. Any other questions, feel free to tweet at us or ask us in the Morningscape group. So let's get right into Philadelphia at Chicago. Doug, we've given you ample time to prepare for the slate. What do you think of Philly at Chicago? What sort of plays are you looking at here?
Okay, so I think with this game, Chicago has not been very strong offensively recently. They've got the third lowest expected goals for on the season on this slate. I think this will probably be a mid-range in terms of potential to blow up, or it could be 0-0 tie. I'm not thinking that this game's going to be anything huge. I'm not super interested. I mean, I obviously like Voracek. I don't think he's as good of a value anymore. The sim doesn't like him as much. One thing to note, I was just reading that that Gustav Forsling won't play tomorrow. He was ruled out today, and Connor Murphy will play in his place. Murphy is useless. I wouldn't play him either. But that's sort of what I've gleaned about this game so far. I mean, you can touch on. I mean, you already touched on Provorov, but is there anyone you like on Chicago before we talk about Philly?
Was it Matt or me? Oh, Matt, you go first.
Yeah, I can. I mean, I like Duncan Keith. He's not been. I mean, I guess he's been underwhelming, kind of. But for 5,000, he just gets so much usage, and he plays such a key offensive role for this team that, I just think that he's always a great play. And at 5,000 against the Philly team that we know is not great defensively, I think that he's a pretty strong play at that range. So, DJ, your thoughts?
Yeah, they definitely ran some different lines in practice on Halloween. DeBrincat, Taves, and Panic were line one. Saad, Schmaltz, and Kane. So if people, like we mentioned, if they don't check that kind of stuff, that Saad and Kane could be a really sneaky play. It's really expensive, but it probably will be lower owned than most stacks end up being. And they're both extremely talented. They should be on the same power play as well, but it doesn't look like they were last game. It looked like the power plays were really kind of weird, and Kane ended up coming back and playing on that first unit. So we'll have to wait and see, but I kind of like that upper price stack for a GPP from Chicago, and probably again with Keith. Although Franzen did get power play one time, I'm not positive on the minutes. He really doesn't get too many, but he's 2,900 with power play time.
I think I was just looking. Actually, Keith was one guy I was going to talk about. I had written down, but I didn't say anything about. So I'm glad Matt brought that up. But I think in Keith's last two games, he's had 4 and 2.5 DraftKings points without registering a goal or an assist in either game. So I mean, a guy that has a decent floor because of his because of the shots and the blocks that he takes. So I don't mind Keith at 5,000. This is one of the Sims' favorite value plays, actually.
Yeah, he's a strong cash play tomorrow. I expect him to get just around 30 minutes. There's no way Murphy's going to log too many. They're going to really have to.
Yeah, in his last game before they scratched Murphy, he only played 13 minutes or something like that.
You mean Murphy, right?
Yeah, Murphy played.
Okay, just making sure. Okay, yeah. Okay, we're all on the same page there. I don't think there's an official word on Gostisbehere yet about if he'll be back or not. Nope. I think he's not traveling. He did not travel.
Oh, really? Okay.
Won't travel with the Flyers upcoming 2 road. Yeah, so Gostisbehere will not play. So Provorov again, as you mentioned. Is there anyone on Philadelphia? I feel like they won't touch on. Kind of.
Voracek continue to talk a lot. Especially when you're looking at, Provorov at 5.2 is still very reasonable. You can expect everyone's going to be on him again tomorrow, given what he just did. So I think this price of this ownership, he's a worthwhile fade in GPPs. In cash games, I mean, I was kind of surprised to see it, but looking at the last 10 games for both teams, which is pretty much the entire season, Philadelphia actually has the best expected goals for relative to how they've been performing offensively, and Chicago's been defensively. So I think the Philly side could be really like a really nice stacking option. I feel like not many people will go there, but the recency bias could take hold, even though they ended up losing to the Coyotes hilariously.
Yep.
Provorov is still going to be piled on. So,
Yeah.
Doug.
I was just going to say, on this slate, Voracek has the highest assists per 60 minutes of any player so far this year, and the third highest power play shots per 60 per game, sorry, on the slate. So I just think in terms of floor, I think he's still got a floor, but I agree with the best to fade him in GPPs just because of the recency bias. But yeah, no, I still think he's a great floor play, even. But
yeah, I think the last guy that's just worth noting as far as like if you need a really you just need like a punt defenseman that's going to get above 20 minutes and assuming power play 2 time, although they didn't run power play 2 last game, Philadelphia, Sanheim, first name Travis Sanheim. I should know that. I played him last game. Yeah, he only registered 2 DFS points on DraftKings with 3 blocks and 1 shot on goal, but like at 3.2, I'm guessing he'll get over 20 minutes again, and power play 2 time. So
yeah,
I'm good.
I think that's a strong play there for cheap.
Yeah, and then the next game, are we ready?
Yeah, all good. So let's look at Pittsburgh at Edmonton, the rematch. These two teams just played last Tuesday, I think. So we have Crosby at McDavid this time. Let's see, Edmonton looking to. Yep, they lost 2-1 in overtime last game. So I don't know. I don't see this being as low scoring as it was on Tuesday. I feel like that was just kind of a mirage. And I have Edmonton as the second best team on the slate. I really like them at home. McDavid's not all that egregiously priced. I mean, 8,000 on this slate seems very doable when you're looking at a lot of value plays, a lot of mid-range plays that are viable. So I really like McDavid here, and obviously you can play McDavid with whoever, but Edmonton runs as McDavid goes, so I don't think he's a must play, but I think McDavid's my favorite target here outside of Crosby or Malkin. I think it's McDavid.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if Pittsburgh does run the lines ahead in practice yesterday, Sheary, Crosby, and Hornqvist on DraftKings at least is really, really well valued. 4,900 playing with Crosby is super elite and power play 1 time. I think he will get piled on a bit in cash as far as if you play a savvy owners. He's only getting 15 minutes of ice time, but I think that could go up with playing with Crosby. So I think Hornqvist is a really strong player with Crosby tomorrow in GPPs. And then a lot of people are probably going to overlook Riley Sheahan, who was traded to Pittsburgh. That was to make room for Athanasiou. So Riley Sheahan joins the Penguins. He has 0 goals this year, which he had only 1 last year in the 82nd game. Now he joins a line with Phil the Thrill Kessel and Jake Gensel. So at 3,300 at center, I think he could do a lot worse. He had 3 shots on goal last game. Maybe he finds kind of a groove in Pittsburgh. So I think he's in play. Those are kind of the 2 cheaper guys to keep in mind. As Matt kind of went over the top tier guys. But Doug, what's the sim saying?
Yeah, I think, so I was looking at upside, and Crosby and McDavid on the slate both are tied at a 13% chance to kind of. I have it's set at 7+ points, but it's mostly just a ceiling. So they are definitely the highest upsides on the slate. I do agree. I like McDavid a little more than Crosby. It makes me wary with these line changes, what will happen. As far as I think the sim definitely identified this kind of matchup between Draisaitl and Malkin, just because they're similar prices. I kind of prefer Draisaitl. I think Malkin on this new line, he's someone that is on goals to get a lot of his points, where Draisaitl is much more of an assist man. I think this game will be relatively high scoring, but Malkin playing with worse teammate or worse line mates could really hinder that. That's kind of where I'm at with that. One good value play that the sim does like is Letestu. He's 3.5K. He's playing line 3, but he's playing full power play 1 for Edmonton. So definitely an interesting play at a lower price. But yeah, I also like him.
Yeah, and then to kind of round out the Edmonton power play 1 stack, Oscar Klefbom at 5.3 is, I think he's cash viable. I mean, despite only having 2 points in 10 games, like his daily fantasy, his production has been very high. Looking at the shots plus blocks the past, let's just go 5 games here. 8 shots plus blocks, 6, 5, 8, 7. So if you're banking 3 DraftKings points before even worrying about like power play 1 production, which obviously he could have, I think that he's at a pretty good price as well. And finally, for Punty, Darnell Nurse at 3.4 has just been ridiculous. He has 5 blocks plus shots per game on the season. At 3.4, you are already getting value. Like on his average game, you are smashing it. So I really like him. And then the last thing to note, DJ, I can't believe you tarnished the name of Riley Shahan like that. He scored twice on the last night of the season.
Oh my! You know what? That actually sounds right now. I honestly was like, yeah, it was the last night. It doesn't really matter. Whatever.
So.
But yeah, I don't know. What honestly, he was a 81 game scoreless. That makes me feel better. Okay.
That was
I think
fun.
we covered that pretty well though. Was there anything else?
Yep.
Last minute notes?
Nope.
I mean, I could mention
Edmonton.
Kuhnhackl, Malk, and Rust was the line 2, but we can move on from there. Just kind
correlate with McDavid. That's all you need to do.
Yes, agreed. Okay, so New Jersey at Vancouver, in probably the game that will go the most overlooked, in my opinion, out of all the games on the slate. I feel like this one's going to be the one that no one really targets, and I think there is some unique type of plays in here that I think are GPP viable. So I don't think it's the game you want to game stack by any means, but I think there are some players here that are worth a look. So off the top, do you want me to mention some Devils notes from today's practice?
You go for it, DJ.
So they wrote power play units A and B because they kind of run them both pretty evenly. But the A was Butcher, Hall, Henrique, Hayes, and Bratt. So that kind of brings Bratt back to the forefront. I know last time he got that first power play push, his ownership went way up, his price went way up. He's definitely teetered off since. I don't exactly know what. I mean, he's had a couple of good games here or there, but I don't think anyone's been piling on him. He has 10 points in 10 games, but if he's back on that first power play, even at 4-4, and also he's on line 2 with Johansson and Henrique. So maybe a Bratt Henrique stack is cheap enough to consider. That's just kind of one note I wanted to mention off the top. I really don't consider many guys from Vancouver at all, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
So, all right, I'm just throwing this out there, but looking at the last 5 games for Vancouver, here are their shot totals by game. Shots on goal: 37, 25 against the Minnesota Wild, 30, and then 39 last game against the Stars. Like, I don't know. Like, those are pretty strong shot numbers. And when you're looking at all this value for Vancouver, going up against a team like New Jersey that plays at if you look at it like objectively, they play at a breakneck pace. When you look at their Corsi pace on ice, like they're one of the highest teams in the league, surprisingly enough. So with Vancouver kind of getting a boost in that sense, I'm looking hard at a guy like Bo Horvat, even at a bit more expensive than he has been at 4.5. Like, he plays the minutes, he's super talented. I think he's in a really nice spot and will certainly go overlooked. So I don't have much interest in New Jersey, as I think they'll fall off the cliff sooner than later because of their high shooting percentage. Vancouver's actually been getting the job done just by being better than their opponent. And I never would have guessed that to start the season. So let's see. Do we have Brock Besser news by chance that you're aware of?
Day to day, he missed last game, but I don't see anything that's confirming out or in. So yeah, I don't know. If he's out,
I mean, if
I would consider Barchi, or maybe I would consider Gagne. Gagne
Oh, yeah,
is
I was gonna say Gagne's
yeah.
a good play, I think, here because his price is not too high up. I think it sucks that he did score in their last game because if he hadn't scored, he probably would be a better kept secret. But he's only 3.7. He saw his minutes increase by more than 4 in that last game, as well as playing power play time. So correct, he did play power play.
Yes,
Right?
he
did.
scored on the power
Yeah.
play. I think that's the reason why he's in play is because he's out there with the Sedins, Vanek, and Delzato. And I feel like the Sedins plus Vanek have so much offensive creatability, especially on the power play. They're not the fastest movers by any means, but Gagne is kind of, I think, the guy they're going to try to feed the puck to shoot it.
Yep.
Maybe Vanek as well.
Yeah,
but
no, I think he's in a
there.
great spot there.
So I don't mind him for like cash, but I don't know. I really do think that either side on this, if you want to make a couple GPP, a couple GPPs at it's because I think of all these games, that one's going to be the overlooked one by the general fan. What do you guys think about that take?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think I'll have more than enough Vancouver exposure in cash. I'm just being honest here. Like I think they're in a very nice spot.
So how about we do this really quick? If you say that right now, what are 3 names on Vancouver? You can include anyone that we've already said that you are like heavily considering right now.
Well, Besser, if he plays, because so far this season he is at 3 shots per game and over a point per game pace. So if he plays, I really like him at 4.2. I just said Horvat, who obviously is a strong play, and then I don't hate the Gagne take. You mentioned Gagne. If Besser doesn't play. And then Michael Delzato, like even though he's a bit more expensive, on that first power play, he's been putting up the floor numbers to support his price increase, and he obviously has some offensive upside. So, I don't think I'm uncovering any like hidden gems or anything with those names, but just guys who have been relatively productive and who have, I think, a strong matchup here against New Jersey.
Yeah, one other guy I think that is at least worth a consideration is Ben Hutton. He's 3.2. He's playing second power play, but he's getting 24 minutes a night. He's getting the most minutes of any of the defensemen, or at least he did last game. He plays power play and penalty kill. 3.2. That's a great value there, especially if this is a game that you're going to be targeting. You do lose that power play correlation though with him, but definitely somebody to think about.
You could get Bo Horvat exposure through, or kind of stack him with Horvat on that second unit.
That's true.
Just an idea.
Horvat, Berchi, and Hutton all play power play 2 together, and then Gagne plays on that line with the 2 of them.
But yeah,
there's definitely something there.
The great thing is whoever you stack with them, like you can afford to stack any line that you want with Vancouver. Like that's just kind of how it's working. So I'm a fan of that. Anything else here, or can we go to Toronto at Anaheim?
We can move along.
Okay. All right, DJ, I thought Getzlaf was out. Do you have anything else for Anaheim?
Yes. I mean, Getzlaf and all the other guys. Eves is out. Fowler's out.
Right.
DXa's out. They called up someone, and his name was like started with a K. It was like Cali with a K.
Oh, he was already up in the league this year.
Yeah, Kosia. Yeah, he's played 2 games this year. I mean, he's not in play, but like they're super, super banged up. Yeah, and then another note on the other side was in the lines Leafs ran today, where Leo Komarov, Kadri, and Levo was line 2. Or is it Livo? Is like Levo? Levo, right?
Levo. Yep.
So those are kind of the different things that might be worth keeping notes of as far as super cheap guys. But I mean, the Maple Leafs are looking like they're running 4 total, like they're running 4 lines like back to back to back to back. They're not really. I mean, there's really not one line I look at that I think is like has no. It's just terrible. So it's gonna be really tough to target one of their lines and have confidence in them getting a ton of minutes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know if they're too. Yeah, I'll let you continue. Those
Yeah,
are
I
my
mean,
visual notes.
the thing about the Leafs is that, I mean, like, you're getting no discount on them, and you're getting no guarantee that, like, they're actually taking an effort to, like, kind of put these players in a good situation because they split everything so equally. Um, so, I have personally no interest, even with Getzlaff out. I mean, like, Anaheim certainly hasn't been awesome, even with Getzlaff in. But I'm just a believer in Anaheim in general, so don't consider me the most unbiased expert here. But I really do think Anaheim's one of the best teams in the league, and once they kind of kick this injury bug, I think they'll start to take off again in the second half of the season. So,
Yeah.
Doug, thoughts on this game before I tell you all about my Anaheim love yet again?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that big of a believer in Anaheim, but yeah, I mean, looking at the underlying expected goals and Corsi numbers for this matchup, I don't really see anything spectacular. I mean, in the last, they have both have low Corsi numbers in the last 5 and last 10 days. So I thought it was interesting. They have decently average expected goals numbers. Both teams do in terms of average expected goals per game and above the other team's average, but they don't. Neither team is trending in the upward direction in terms of Corsi. So they're not shooting the puck as much, but they're getting a decent amount of scoring chances. So I mean, people love Toronto. I think that I'm going to be trying to stay away from this matchup as much as possible. I don't think that it will be worth chasing the few points that do come by, and I don't think that the shot production is going to be there to see this game explode into a 6-5 shootout or anything like that. I'm generally going to try to stay hands off. One guy I do like is Raquel. I think at 6.3, he's got a lot of upside just because of the amount of minutes he plays, and he'll probably see. He saw a ton of time in the last game with Getzlab going down. So that's I'm going to be looking at here.
Yeah, no, I was gonna just say that in the last game, Anaheim did not get one single power play, so I think the minutes are almost exactly what they're like as low as they might be for some of these studs on Anaheim. Raquel had 23 minutes, Silverberg 20, Cogliano 19, Perry 17, and I think all of those guys would get a bump with more power play time as to be expected. So I really like Raquel, Perry, and Montour as a stack tomorrow as one of my favorite stacks. It really doesn't break the bank. It actually stays just under your average value of a player, like on DraftKings, the 5.5. So that stack is going to see just a huge amount of minutes and a huge amount of upside against Toronto, who has a very weak defense. So I really like that stack, or maybe even going Cogliano, Silverberg, and Montour as a little bit more contrarian. What do you guys think of those two stacks?
Did you say Brandon Montour?
I said him twice, and I'll
Okay.
say him a third time.
Okay. I mean,
You're sold? You're sold?
Okay, I'm in. Yeah, I mean, personally, like with Getzlaff in, I think Anaheim would be even more like lockish and cash, just given the way Toronto plays. But okay, people are gonna look at Brandon Montour and they're gonna say like, "Geez, like 4.6," and they're gonna look at his game logs. They're gonna be like 3.2, 3.2, crept up to 4K. Now he's up at 4.6. But as I said before, I'll say it again. There is absolutely no reason that he does not deserve this price tag. If you compare him objectively to Cam Fowler, he's playing more minutes than Cam Fowler averaged, with Lindholm in especially. He's shooting the puck more. He's more involved on the power play as like a guy who gets set up for one-timers, whereas Fowler kind of tried to set up Getzlaff. And, with Getzlaff out, it really hurts Montour just because he's so good on the power play. And obviously, Anaheim suffers as a team with no Getzlaff. But I still think for 4.6, Montour is he's not a lock-to-me value, don't get me wrong, but I think he's just as good a bet as anyone like Keith or Provorov. And Montour should be way less owned. Like, people are still not believing Brandon Montour. Make sure you're not one of them.
Yeah. One thing I said in the chat today, people were like talking about how how good Montour is and stuff, and I was kind of saying like for those that maybe just play football a lot, it would be like you have a guy that's seeing like 8 to 10 targets and like 5 of them in the red zone and is still at like 5K. Like you're gonna put that guy in your cash lineup. Like I don't care if he's at this price. Like it's not egregious. It doesn't break the bank at all, and he's getting all of the opportunity and he's like a really gifted offensive player. It just makes no sense. People are still gonna fade him.
He is so good. Doug, do you have anything else in this game before we move on? Or?
No, Montour Sims second highest value play in this game, so I'm all about it.
I did not expect that one bit.
The Montour train is lit.
Yeah. All right, let's get on board then. So
to the last game.
Yeah, just I like doing this once in a while just to remind people of Brandon Montour's like offensive upside. So in the USHL, Montour had 62 points, 60 games, again, as a defenseman. AHL, as a 19-year-old, he had 57 points in 68 games. And last year, in the AHL, he had 32 points in 36 games. Obviously, he is only 22 years old right now. Actually, he turned 23. So, you're looking at a guy who's just crushed as a youngster in all of these leagues, and he's continued to put up production in the NHL. So let's move on to the last game.
Okay. Hello?
Yeah.
Yes.
I totally lost everyone there.
Oh, well. You see, DJ, the thing about podcasting is that when there's silence, I can just edit it out. So you can just keep talking like nothing happened.
Oh, I started to say something, and then I literally heard nothing. So I was like, oh, God, I think I didn't do anything.
Yes, because we were waiting for you to say stuff. So let's get going.
Oh. Anyways, so Nashville at San Jose is the last game. Okay. Okay, yeah. So Nashville at San Jose is the last game. Starts at 10:30. It's almost 10:30, and I think I just fell asleep. So
strong analysis, right there.
Strong analysis. It's starting at 10:30 on my birthday, means that it might end after my birthday. So it's a total fade from me.
Wow. You heard the man.
you don't play that one.
Next,
it's gonna be a 0-0 shootout win, and no one's gonna score except. Let me think. Who's gonna be that final goal?
Wait, who's gonna win? Yeah,
Matt Irwin with the winner.
Yeah,
he gets like 11 minutes of ice time. He'll come in.
In the shootout. So they're gonna go 24 rounds in the shootout. Each goalie's gonna shoot twice, and then Matt Irwin's gonna be like, Coach, can I go?
Actually, he didn't even play. He didn't play last game, so maybe it won't be Matt Irwin.
Even worse, right. He'll come down from the press box.
Come back. All right, there's no more skaters. Everyone's too tired to go on. Matt Irwin puts his skates on. No.
Calling Vegas's fifth string goalie to take the shot instead.
Laviolette gets off the ice after taking his attempt. All right, that's it, Irwin. You're in.
It's unfortunate they don't have Phil Housley back there anymore.
I know, he would have sniped.
That coach would have actually. Anyways, so we're looking at this game where we have Brent Burns, Roman Josi, PK Subban, three of the premier plays at the defense position. I think I am staying in the mid-tier here. I mean, don't get me wrong, Burns is always in play. But I think we listed three defensemen in Provorov, Keith, and Montour. And then also, a number of other guys who we thought were strong plays. So you can save some money on. And, I don't think this matchup is anything special for Brent Burns. So am I crazy here to think that Brent Burns maybe isn't the lock of all locks here at the still very depressed price point?
What does the Sims say, Doug?
He's definitely the Sims' favorite play from this game. I will say it's not great. His chance to break value or to meet value is only 36%, which is pretty low for a defenseman. And as Matt said, I think there's some better options out there. it's kind of tough with defensemen at this high of a price point because there's such a small sample of them. I will say that this is one of the areas that I think the sim struggles with the most. Although when I wrote up the thing, I just included all defensemen above 4,000 as one category. So it appeared that the sim was doing better, but it was just because there's so few defensemen at this really, really high price point. So I think that the sim has a little bit of trouble with that. But yeah, I'm not in love with the position. I think that meat value is lowered a little bit. So yeah, I think there's better places to go.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really again like I seriously I'm not targeting this game too heavily. I do like some spots in this game, but I can't. Nashville looked like they definitely changed up their lines in the last game. So I'm kind of waiting to see Morningscape before I give a lot of hot takes because I think Fiala will be with Johansson and Forsberg tomorrow, but I can't prove it. And I'm kind of liking Fiala on the cheaper end, but other than that, I don't know if I really love any stacks in particular out of this game as like a go full out stack. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I very much agree. Like, you could spend up on guys like Pavelski and Couture and Burns, but like, I think like McDavid Draisaitl is a better stack or something like that. So, I just think there's secondary options only here. And obviously, I think I just mentioned the top end guys who would be in play. Classic is still super cheap, but I think at every price point you can do just a little bit better than guys in this game, which should be a pretty defensively focused, kind of play strong defense, take your chances when you get them. I just think that the other games here are really primed for shootout, and that this game is kind of like the most playoff hockey-esque sort of style, and that's not great for DFS purposes.
So
yeah,
did you mention or see that Ekholm is potentially out tomorrow? Sim liked him as a decent value play, but yeah, he went out in practice today.
Oh,
it's doubtful.
Wait, let me double check. I did see something about that, but I thought something else may have mentioned that it was like everything was okay. Let me look. You guys do a talking about a thing.
But
so even if Ekholm is in, keep an eye on where Samuel Girard lines up, just because we're not really sure who he's going to play with, and his minutes have really fluctuated depending on who he plays with. Just a few games ago, he played 21 minutes alongside Yossi, had a goal and an assist, and put up 7 DraftKings points. And then he's played 16 and 13 the last 2 games. So, just keep an eye, especially with Ekholm out, there'll be some time to fill. DJ, what'd you find?
Actually, Girard's skating with Irwin today. So either that's a line or those two are probably out, would be my guess. So yeah, those two are probably scratched, is what it looks like from practice. And then it just says Ekholm got tangled up with Forsberg in a drill and is in some discomfort on the bench. And then there was someone later that said Laviolette didn't have an update on Ekholm, but he had just walked off the ice after practice. Said he hasn't talked with anybody yet, but he walked. And then looked like upper body rib area.
That's why he walked, because he didn't have his legs.
So I guess, it says they got tangled up.
He only had one arm. The other one was still on the ice, but he walked off the ice.
Okay, I'm reading these tweets in order. I'm just saying that people, like someone said, was it a leg injury? And he said no. I'm saying it's a rib injury. Like I'm just saying it might give him a better chance to potentially play tomorrow.
Wait, when was that? When was that tweet?
9 hours ago.
Okay. CBS had an article posted 8 hours ago from RotoWire that said that he had it doesn't say anything. It sustained an upper body injury in practice, and is his availability. No, they just want to know if he traveled or not, so they don't know yet. All right, never mind. Same thing.
So I'm just gonna go with he's gonna play. That's my guess, and Irwin will not.
Okay. So strong takes all around here. Let's pick one GPP stack for tomorrow, and then do our guaranteed goals. They don't have to be related.
Okay. Does someone have a first one?
Let me Let me run the sim for the
You run the
I'm
sim.
gonna go.
Lions.
I'm gonna go
Go.
pretty like I don't know, chalky, I guess, with the McDavid Draisaitl stack. Um, like we mentioned, I don't think Burns is a must play. I think there's a lot of mid tier to cheap plays at every position that you can easily fit McDavid and Draisaitl in and not hate your team. I think this is really an explosion spot for Edmonton. I am more than willing to just jump on the fact that Pittsburgh can't play defense to save their lives. So let's get some McDavid action. Let's make it rain. DJ, how's your? What do you think?
I mean, I think if you were saying like price not considered, I like Saad, Kane, and Keith a ton. I think it's really expensive. Keith is fairly priced. It doesn't. I don't think it slaughters your bank. If you can fit in a couple Vancouver guys you really like in there as well, you can definitely make it work. But there's no way you're going to get that with a McDavid stack or a Crosby stack. So you're going to have to get a bit contrarian. But I really do like that stack probably the most against Philly at home, especially with Gostisbehere out. That defense is not good.
I think that's funny. Of the top three stacks that the sim likes for tomorrow, Matt picked number 3, and then DJ picked number 2, and then I was gonna say Philadelphia 1 with Voracek, Provorov, and then some combination of Couturier, Simmons, Giroux, or not Simmons, Couturier, Giroux. That first line with the power play 1, that was his favorite. But those are the top 3, and you guys nailed them. So good job, us.
Yeah. The thing about Couturier is that he's not on the first power play because Filppula, for some reason, is first power play. So Couturier is super expensive. He has a really high shooting percentage. So I don't love him like your stacking options. I mean, 6.5 is like I think almost egregious, but it's impossible to argue with how well he's played this year. And he is a super. I think he's a very good player, productive. So just the price makes it kind of out of play. So my preference personally is Giroux. But, all right, let's do our guarantee goals. The normal. Try to keep it somewhere in the 11.5 range. Anyone prepped to go here?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Good. Good.
Perfect.
Great.
That is what we were all hoping for, that I would not be ready.
All right. Now that I've gotten some time to stall, I'm going to take Bo Horvat as my cheap guy.
I'll take Raquel and Sam Gagner.
Okay.
Would you like to enter Besser if Gagner or if Besser is playing, or would you say Gagner even if Besser kind of takes the Gagner role?
If Besser is playing, I want Besser. He wasn't even included in the sim because he didn't play last game.
I just want to write these down because if I write them down now, then I'll remember them later, and I won't have to ask you later. So hold on. You said, say it one more time.
This is a true problem we have every time.
I know, but none of us remember
who we picked.
No, but no one remembers. Don't even give me that. Then I'll be like, all right, wait, what did you say again? You'll be like, I don't know. I think I said this guy, and then I'm like, yeah, who's the other one? I don't know. All right, you know what? Just keep going, Matt. Do you have yours?
All right. Well, yeah, I will go with Draisaitl. I mean, that kind of fits with my Edmonton stack, and that adds up to 11.7. So let's do it.
Okay. Oh, hold on. I was doing math before that, and let me just double check. Okay. I'm going to go with Hornqvist with Crosby. I know it's kind of not what I said before with my stack, but I'm down with it. And then I'm trying to decide between – I think I'm going to go Silfverberg. He's just been a shot monster lately, and I think he
finally scored.
He finally scored a goal. I know that's kind of the only reason why I didn't want to say it, because he hadn't scored, but he's been producing a lot of shots on goal. I kind of just like him more than Perry at almost the exact same price. So I think I'm gonna go Silfverberg. Yeah, I'll go Silfverberg. Why not?
All right. So I think that'll just about do it for us here. Be sure to leave us a review if you like the show. DJ, have you looked recently? Maybe we have a late
Oh.
review.
God,
I
haven't-
looked
Also-
yesterday, and there wasn't any new
Alright.
ones. So
So be sure to follow us on Twitter as well, at Morningscape Pod. And if you still haven't checked it out yet, the morningscapepod.com, you can find the sim there. It's updated usually about 2 to 3 o'clock on each game day. So check that out for the full set of projections from the sim. And yeah, so DJ, you didn't see anything on the.
No, we did this one last time. We're
Okay.
good.
So
So
leave
Yeah,
something
good
in there for us on, well, when we record the Thursday slate. And remember, we could make DJ sing it on his birthday. So,
all right, I'm ready.
all right. So from all of us, DJ, happy birthday, buddy.
Yay.
And from Doug, from DJ, from myself, have a good slate. And we will see ya.